All are welcome. All are welcome.
Goodness, it's Ruben. It's Cuervo Suave.
Hello, funky chicken.
Yeah, I noticed that in the credits, it's Melissa Pinnell, like normal Melissa Pinnell and Cuervo Suave.
Yeah, I didn't know. I don't want to offend anybody, so I was like, I'm going to keep it at the normal spot here. So, how you doing? How is everybody out there doing? Welcome to Cali Cocktail Hour. It's 5.0, because we missed 4.0, but that's because of the pandemic, ongoing pandemic. We had
an interlude of like 8 months.
Yeah, we thought it was going to... Yeah, exactly. How is everybody out there? And welcome to Cali Cocktail Hour, the original dual, the dual quadruple, everybody. Yeah. So thank you, Melissa. How are you? It's been a while. It's been at least 9 months?
No, it's
10
not
months?
been that long. It's been...
has it?
It was February.
Oh, yes, exactly.
Last time that we did one of these.
Sorry, I thought you were pregnant 9 months. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Which I found today when I was getting ready for the show. I was like, this is the first time I've had 2 kids to manage in preparation for one of our shows. So, yeah, it's weird, but it's good. I've been really looking forward to tonight. And I realize I'm so out of practice that usually what I do is I open Facebook in a window, and then I open us in a window, and then I can watch everyone comment. But I'm just going to have to rely on you because I didn't do that. And so
you didn't
say anything. Should I do that? I should do that because you don't put every comment up on our...
I do.
Up on my board. So.
Oh, welcome, Cruz. Welcome, Lisa. How are you? This is Cuervo Suave, and they keep putting Ruben, but Cuervo Suave and Melissa Funky Chicken Pernell. You know, always put an R on there, right?
I know. So. I don't know. A lot of people do that. Why are you not coming up as my Facebook friend? Did you delete me?
Well, that's something that we need to talk about. That's actually I'm going to dump you on live on the live stream. So
that's what this was for. I should have known. Yeah, you just want the ratings, Ruben.
That's right, ratings. We'd like to thank everyone for coming out. It's been a while, and we have lots to talk about. Lots of changes in our lives. Lots of different reasons why we're here tonight. It's Melissa's birthday tomorrow.
It is.
Yeah, happy birthday. It's 9/9. What was it?
So it is not. Well, 5 minutes ago, it was 9 o'clock on the 9th month.
Oh, there's what.
The 9th day of the 9th month. I was like, wait, something's missing there. So this is a very auspicious time we're at tonight. I think the 9 o'clock hour is just going to be a cool one. And yeah, we're so happy to be back with you all. Whoever's joining, whether you interact and comment and tell us how amazing we are, and happy birthday, Melissa. Oh my God, I missed you. Whether you do that.
Oh, see, someone, happy early birthday, Melissa. Someone, Heather wrote. Yeah. Hi, Heather. How you doing? Heather is, yes. So we're happy that everyone is here. We have lots to talk about. Yeah. So as we usually will, we will go. You can come on, come on and say hi to everybody. And we'd love to see who's here tonight because it'd be great. We're going to play a song and then come back. So get your cocktail, your mocktail, your schmocktail.
Wait. You didn't tell us how you're doing. You have to do a little quick check-in, Ruben. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Okay. Now
after battles of, we'll talk about that too. Decisions in life, right? Things where we're at in life. How is everybody out there? Where is everybody out there? What is, see, Heather's doing fabulous. That's great. See?
Oh, good. Yeah. It's so good to see you, Heather. Yeah, anybody pop on. If you're doing wonderful, we want to hear about it. If you're doing terribly, we want to hear about it. If you're just like, we want to hear about that too.
Yeah, so sit back, relax, go do your bathroom break. Oh, we have another comment before I go because I have to keep everybody. Stephanie said hi. There you go.
Okay, so this is the podcast host. I was on a podcast that released today. We're going to talk about this when we come back, but Stephanie is the host, and you all need to check out her podcast. She has the most soothing voice I think I've ever heard. We're okay, Ruben, but her voice is just like made for radio podcast.
Well, yeah, but can't you do this though? My voice can be very. Sorry. My voice can be very soothing too. No, forget it. I'll have to come back.
We're just going to try and imagine what you're trying to do right now.
What about this? There you go. My voice can be very soothing too.
Ruben just went through puberty live on air.
That's right. So anyways.
Yes, I would love to hear Stephanie's voice. And if you can put down your on the comments where we can listen to that podcast, that'd be great. So, and we'll be right back. Miguel, How you doing? Another wonderful artist.
Yeah.
Yeah, happy birthday, Melissa. Enjoy. There you go. See? Oh, Raquela's here. Oh,
Raquel.
wow. Yeah, see?
Oh my
Two of
gosh.
my favorite people live in living color. So, yeah, I would love to listen to some of that podcast. I probably should have queued something up, but that'll have to be for another show. Maybe we'll
Yeah,
have her on here and we can talk to her.
that
Yeah,
would be
see?
amazing. She would be
So we can, oh, yeah. So everybody, we're going to play a song. There's some glitch art, some, oops. See? Sorry. That's my other one. Yeah, so sit back, relax, go get your drink, hang out. You know, we're going to come right back for Cali Cocktail Hour on a special Thursday night. And we'll talk about Melissa's new book coming out, right? That is coming out tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah.
Talk about an event that I have going on tomorrow. And everything's tomorrow, but today and now, in the present, right? So we'll come back, we'll play the song. We'll talk about the journeys and life, and we'll go from there. We'll come right back in about 2 minutes. Well, that wasn't the song I was trying for, but I guess "Let It All Go" is part of part of the
Really?
theme for tonight. Yes.
That was an
So
accident?
yes. I was like, gosh, dang it! I wanted to play the other song, but that's okay. That's
That
what
was
we're here about.
mesmerizing. Was the art on there? That was your creation, right?
Yes, that
That
was
was really cool.
yeah. So it's a new part of a new kind of art form that I'm getting into, and a new what do you call it? The metaverse, and there's a whole new um, yeah, whole new world out there. So
Wow.
yes, and we'll talk about that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool song. Anyways, yeah, that's right, Uli. Uli's another great friend. I do a show with Uli every Wednesday. I couldn't do it this week because I had to set up for a show. But yeah, we do it. We do a puppet animation show with different stuff. So
You guys don't go out live on here though, because I never see it.
no, we go on Twitch. It's more
Okay.
underground, more risque.
Wow. More respect.
Zhongkua.
You are so cool. Gosh, I wish I was as cool as you.
Hold on, look at that.
Oh, the podcast link. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So yeah, so it's called the Parentless Podcast, Stephanie's podcast, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's about talking about grief, people who have lost parents. And it is so cathartic for anyone out there who has lost a parent or maybe is just struggling with losing someone. I think to be able to talk so truthfully and candidly about death and loss and how we sort our lives out afterward, it's just a really beautiful show. So it was awesome to be a guest, but I just highly recommend it. Got some big feelings, you want to feel them, go listen to the show. And she would be an amazing guest. So Steph, if you ever want to guest with us and we can interview you, and if you're still out
hear
there.
Your voice. Hear the soothing voice. That's right.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I would definitely love to hear it, yes. So, yeah, it would be great to listen to.
Yeah. So it's so good to be here. It feels so weird. I feel kind of nervous and like out of practice. How do you feel?
I was a little bit nervous. I was a little bit, just now I feel better now. I mean, I was like, oh my God, I didn't do the intro. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I did it all. So, because there's part of this podcast, and listen, I'm so sorry I didn't come here to promote. Ha ha ha. No, that's okay. We're here for you, Stephanie. That's right. So,
well, it's fun to promote stuff you actually believe in too. It's like easy to do that. So, yeah. Well, Ruben, do you want to check in and tell us a little bit about where you're at?
Yeah, how's everything? I was looking at the notes that you sent me, and one of your notes was, these are the things that are saved. That was one of your notes.
Oh, yeah. So I figured we could talk about that. Like, here are the things we're doing that are saving our mental health. You were supposed to like copy and paste it, Ruben.
I can. That's what I mean. That's quick I am. I just open it up and I'm like, let's talk about this.
I'll keep that in mind next time. So this is like, are there things, and we don't know how you're doing. I think it's, for a while there, at different moments, it's easy to think we have this like collective consciousness of things that we are going through together, right? Like when we started this show, we were all in a pandemic together. Or I think what I'm saying is we're always having very different human experiences, but I think we're all in very different places. That being said, we always need to take care of our mental health, whether things are great and we're like putting stuff in the bank to stay good, or we're doing really poorly. And there's just like these little things we're doing just to barely hang on by a thread. So if anyone in the comments wants to share what is working for you right now to either barely hang on to sanity, Ruben.
Well, yes, exactly. Well, you know what? And I'm going to go first on that one too, because, just to, I like to put myself out there, right? So I had to make a decision in my life, but I went through a really bad time in my life. I mean, I really was not feeling good. I've had one, I would say, I don't want to say nervous breakdown because that makes me nervous. I don't like that name, but I went through a really rough time in my life to where I know if I went back there, I didn't like it. Right. So I had to make a decision in my life. I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't eating. Which when I get depressed, that happens, right? Or I'm an overthinker, right? My thoughts don't let me sleep. No matter, yes, I did some meditation, I did some yoga nidra, I did everything that I could to get me in that position, but ultimately, I had to make a decision about my life and about how I saw things. And I think that, which is really weird, but in some ways, the pandemic and slowing down of life helped me to make a decision, and I grew in the pandemic, and I realized certain things during the pandemic when everything slowed down. When you have so many distractions in your life, you just keep going and you keep going, and so in some way the pandemic kind of saved myself too. But during this time, I reopened the restaurant, and I'm not a person that is very organized. I'm an artist, so I always tell people I have an artist brain, which I don't write anything down. It's always just in my head if I'm going to create something, but there's also an inverted part of that too. And the invert part is the scary part. So I had to make a decision. I had to come to a conclusion after probably about a month and a half. Yeah, about a month of not sleeping and eating very well. And my decision was to quit my job that I've been working for 24 years. Of normal, what I thought, it has nothing to do with the job itself. It has to do with where I'm at in my life too. But it had to do a lot with, I gave so much energy that during the pandemic, during Cali Cocktail Hour, I realized that I became more of an empath, right? Just a natural ability to, to really emote with people. And then going back to work, I had to manage 100 people. So what I had was 100 people's voices in my head because I felt like I had to help everybody. I had to get this thing going. So I had to have an end date for something. It was either me or my, what I was going to. So I decided it would be me. I'd have to save myself. So I needed an end date for this. Either it was going to quit or I was going to quit. I mean, end, So
either this was going to end or you were.
Or I was going to end. Yeah. So I picked my mental health. And I think there's a lot of people during this time are picking their mental health too. And I went through. I did go through a rough time, and I know that I go through a rough time when I don't reach out to anybody. So yeah. So So and now I'm kind of recovering a little bit. I always tell people like I feel like I'm an emotional open wound. Where people still touch me and little things will set me. And I won't say they set me off. They're just more like 10 times more intense in the way they should be. And I know at least I can recognize that, so I'm not overreacting to it anymore. And I love the people. I love the workplace I work for. I love the owner. So it's really nothing about that. It was more about like having that time to think about what I wanted to do next, and so yeah. So that's where I'm at. So like I said, I put myself out there. I had a rough time. I'm not a person to reach out, and I think that comes from my childhood of bearing everything and not showing people when I am in pain, right? Because I feel like I should be helping other people. That's my thing, But yeah. So see.
Serving a greater purpose and or the greater community has been a therapeutic diversion for me during these troubling times.
Yeah.
I love that, Cruz. That's I think a really beautiful, admirable way to approach things, always for our mental health.
See you, Danielle. Yeah, Danielle, you should come tomorrow. We'll see you there. Yeah. Stephanie, I'm just hearing about managing 100 people. Yes. And it's only like the things because I take it in, right? And that's not, that's something that I realized that what changed inside of me with the pandemic was that I can actually feel 100 people, if that makes sense. I want to fix everything as much as I can. And I know that I can't fix everyone. So, but still I felt that, that I don't know if you want to you feel vibrations, right? You feel people, you feel, you just feel, energy. Because we're all vibrational beings, so the vibrations were a little bit too much for me, if that makes sense.
So let me get this straight. So you had this job for a quarter of a century ish. It was your sense of normalcy, it was structure, it was health insurance, it is, family, it is all of these things. And you got to a point where you could sense that the harder thing was the right thing, and you decided to leave.
Yeah, and I think that, like I said, and actually, doing Cali Cocktail Hour made me realize too that you don't need to physically be in front of someone to feel what they're feeling, right? So when I got back to the physical world, it was overwhelming, if that makes sense. That I can feel everything, and I think that we're all, we all feel things, and I know that everybody on here is very sensitive and very, empathetic. They're empaths, right? And so I realized that it was just too much for me. It's too much that and it's not something that I can put in words. It's something I can, feel. And then so here's one beautiful person too, Colleen.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, Colleen, I just want to give you a big, giant hug.
And Colleen, I want to say, I feel your pain too from your loss of your friend, and I saw that, on, how much you loved. She just lost a very friend that was very close to her and for a long life friend, and a I'm sure. So my heart goes out to to her too, and just everybody who knew her. I've seen different Facebook feeds about. So yeah, and it's also besides that too. Colleen does some beautiful artwork too.
Oh my gosh, Colleen, it's so nice to see all of your names and faces, whether you used to watch the show or you're brand new. We're just happy to have you. And so, Ruben, maybe what you're going through it's your story. It's unique, but it's also not, because I think all of us, if we're honest with ourselves, have gotten to a point where we have felt so uncomfortable and so sure, even if we didn't want to be sure, that something was done. And then we have a choice, right? We can either like tune into that and hear this truth that can be really hard and totally throw our life upside down, or not and get sick. And I know I've done both. I think most of us have, but I just want to shine the light on the discomfort involved in making what is a really, really brave and positive and healthy choice, and also really fucking hard. And like I said, I think that's highly relatable for a lot of us. And so to be able to talk about all of it, which you're doing, the rightness of it, and the hard, I think is really important.
And, and like I said, what Colleen says, thank you, Joel, to such a huge losses, and, being able to, I've seen a couple of Facebook posts from friends that, have had these huge losses in their lives, and I feel like, obviously I wish I could help in some way, and I hope that us getting together will help that loss, and, and know that everyone out there is loved, because I know sometimes it's hard to hear sometimes your family won't say, I love you, right? Sometimes your friends won't say that because everybody feels shy, but, and I would like to talk to everybody out there, if that's what if that's what you need to hear, you are loved, and we do love you, and we're here for you. Whether you, like I said, whether you're doing great, that's great. Put it out there, because there's not anything wrong with doing great. And I think sometimes we minimize ourselves, because I know I do. When I'm doing great, I'm like, okay, I'm okay, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, in all honesty, like, look, I had to make a tough decision, I had to make it for myself, right? And we always have to make tough decisions. And I tell everyone, I blame Oprah, right? She says, find your purpose. But I don't want to come out here and say, I quit my job because I'm going to find my purpose. I'm going to help people, because it doesn't make that much sense to glorify myself for that decision, right? Because honestly, I just jumped in the abyss. I don't have a job, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have anything. I'm giving up everything that was comfortable, right? To go into this place where I have no idea what's going to happen, right? I'm going to go to Mexico. I'm going to go to Oaxaca for a month after I leave. I'm going to get my blood re-energized and get my soul re-energized back there. But when I come back, I'm going to be jobless. I'm going to be an artist. That's it.
Well, you already are an artist.
No, I know, but so, but like I said, and I think that a lot of us out there are trying to make sense of whatever is going on here, because we thought we'd be done by now, right? Remember when we first started the show, like, okay, yeah, it's over, we're done.
Flatten the curve.
Yeah, so. See, and it's it's the heart that matters, right?
Yes, the head and the heart. It's the heart that matters. We can logic our way around things. We can say, well, I should stay in this, I'm going to say shitty job, and I'm not saying that like the place that I used to work there, it's a beautiful, amazing place.
Yeah.
But whatever that place is, that I think something I have to remember. Well, let me finish that thought. Nope, I'm going back to this thought.
So that's what the show's about.
This is my brain on two kids. So I think what's important, and I have to constantly remind myself of this, is that we do not do anyone any favors when we stay too long. And that is jobs, relationships, living situations. What else is it? I don't know.
Relationships?
I think I said that, didn't I? Maybe. Yeah. I meant it. But it's like we can...
You said... No.
Did I say it twice?
Did. I think I didn't listen to the first part. So
did we mention relationships? Because we're talking about relationships too. So I just think it's like I will people please my way into being like, well, it'll be really hard for this person to find another person like me. I'm just kidding. But to like fill this void that I'm leaving, or to do this job. And the truth is, like, we're actually not doing anyone any favors, and maybe actually even doing them harm, because we're robbing them of a future partner or a future employee, and same for ourselves, we don't do anyone any favors when we stay too long. Thank you. Yeah. And I think I have to kind of talk like that to myself because of the people pleaser. It's the same thing that I tell myself when I overcommit or
Yeah.
I agree to something I don't really want to do, but I think someone wants me to, and then I resent them. And then I'm sitting there, ugh, and it's like, oh, I'm not actually helping them. I'm just pissed off. And
It's funny about the people pleaser because Oprah will always say like, "I had the disease to please," right?
ooh,
Yeah, that's
I like
that was her
that.
thing. Yeah, she's a people pleaser. Right? She's like, "I had the disease to please." I'm like, and then she got over it, right? And she's talking about different parts. I mean, look, I'm 55. Yeah, 55, right?
Ooh,
So,
that's a good age.
yes. No, you know what I mean, but I've gone through certain elements, and you go through certain stage in your life like I don't need that anymore, right? I don't need this anymore. Um, I think one of your questions, what would you say to your 18-year-old self, right?
Are we going
Uh,
to talk about those?
well, I mean, this is going to go into into
Yeah.
it, but I think we all can look back and go, oh, I mean, sometimes I look back at what I've done, and I'm like, oh shit, and I just shake my head, right? Just
Yeah.
because some of the things that of course, I wish I would have said, I wish I would have had a good role model, you know, um, to help me through these times. And when I looked at that question, I'm like, oh shit, there's a lot of things I would have said to myself, right?
So the
So,
question is, what advice would you give to your 18-year-old self? And just really quick plug for the book, the new, I'm like, what is this? Fathers and Sons book out tomorrow. That question is from this book. So a dad
oh,
technically
here you go.
for
There
his
it
son
is. See?
daughter. If you could give your 18-year-old self a piece of advice, what would it be? I think the follow up to that is, but would your 18-year-old self have listened? No. But it's still fun to think about.
Oh no,
Yeah. No.
yeah. There'd be a lot of fingers on my hand for that question when I was 18.
Fingers on your hand?
Like middle fingers.
Oh.
Lots of middle fingers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, okay, that's great advice, Dad. Now I'm going to go party with this band I'm in or,
Yeah.
whatever.
So, and I think we all, like I said, we all went through, and the more I look at my life, and the more I look into, wait, I think I mean, we're going to go all over the map with this because we talked about generational healing, right? And or generational trauma, right? And the more I am going into my family's history, I'm starting to realize, oh shoot, there is definitely cycles that's going on here, right?
Mm.
And there's definitely some stuff that's kind of heavy that happened with my father, my grandmother, who I never met before. I'm just learning more stuff that oh shoot, that was when you try not to be something and then you become that person for a while. That's something that that I could emote to. So
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So on the heels of that, would that be part of the advice you would give to your 18-year-old self? Would it be like, hey, you're going to recreate this pattern?
Yes.
Maybe take a look at that.
Yeah, and I would have probably said, okay, now here's the finger, and I would take off.
You'd just been like that.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah.
Oh,
See, and then Cruz says sometimes we need moving on instead of hanging on.
that rolls off the tongue. I like that.
What's that? Is
Totally.
that a song, Cruz?
It sounds like you're singing a song over there, Cruz. Immutable family karma. Never give up. Mm.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
You know,
Oh my gosh.
and so like I said, there is certain things that we look forward to or we look at, right? I mean, I'm not gonna like I will always put myself out there because I don't want to put anything on anybody else. But I found out some stuff about my father that makes total sense, right?
Like
He
his trauma.
Yes,
Yeah.
very dark trauma, and very dark trauma from Mexico that they never. I mean, I'll say from Mexico but I think that most people from that generation never talked about anything, right? So you never knew what happened. And now I'm realizing what happened, and so, do I be compassionate enough to forgive him, or do I just say, okay, well, you deserve it, right? It's karma, right? So it's very interesting going back and talking to family members, but it's also very healing, and to look about talk to people about their what happened or we talk about um, uh, family, loss, right? And I think about it, I'm like, I lost three mothers in this lifetime, right? So, um, and one was my birth mother, one was my mother that raised me, and one was my stepmother. So, if I believe in in reincarnation or karma, I was like, well, what did I do last my past life to get to this point, right? But also, I realized that I held on to certain things that I couldn't even get past the fact that my stepmother, I should have showed more compassion to the situation that she was into, if that makes sense. You
Yeah.
know, so
You
um,
just made me think of this metaphor that I don't think I've shared on here, but it's been so helpful to me. So when you were talking just now about your own trauma, your family trauma, how it can feel almost I think was it Cruz that just said someone just said immutable, like it's almost like no matter what we do, it's like it's there, these family patterns. And I know that for myself, I've done so much work and I do so much work, different kinds of like woo woo stuff and deep therapy and coaching and reading. And sometimes it can be like, God, am I ever going to escape this pattern of
yeah,
my own stuff? And I heard this metaphor a while back, and it was actually around loss. And I know that many of us, if you're human, you deal with loss. But like you said, there's a lot of people in our lives that have had big loss recently. And when a woman is pregnant with a baby and the baby's inside her tummy, she's like singing to it. And obviously, this was very recent for me.
yeah,
You're
yeah, for
singing to
sure.
this baby, and you're like, come on, baby, it's time to come out. And you're, loving on this baby. And you just cannot wait to welcome this baby into this world, this like incredible and fucking crazy, but incredible world. And inside your belly, the baby can hear you and sense you and maybe hears your heartbeat and get these like, can sense your emotions and get these feelings. But the baby has no idea what the hell is outside the womb. It's just in this little ball with like juice and all of the stuff inside the amniotic sac or whatever. And yet it's only like 2 inches from this incredible world with this being that loves it, that just wants to welcome it. And so if you see where I'm going with this, the idea is that we are that baby and we get these senses, like feelings from maybe the other side or from our family or from our literal genetics. And we feel kind of stuck maybe sometimes or far away from that thing that really like state that maybe we want to be in, but it's only
Yeah,
2 inches. It's like right on the other side of the veil. So the reason I'm bringing this up is I think it's comforting for me in like the other side kind of sense. When I'm feeling more connected spiritually, I can imagine my loved ones like they're just 2 inches away. I just can't see it. And the way I've been thinking of it for myself recently is that even though I feel stuck in these patterns, they're just 2 inches away. It's like we could literally just peek out of the womb, and
yeah.
suddenly break like a generations long trauma.
Well, I'm gonna take that feeling that you had, right? Because I think people have asked me. We talk about the Day of the Dead. The life and So I was that baby, right? I was the baby that felt everything, that saw everything, and my mom, some people ask me like, "Hey, my mom died when I was born, right? Or 4 days after I was born." And I saw everything. I felt everything. I saw the world, but I also saw her protection over me, right? And I was, tell someone like, well, if you were a mom, if you had a choice between your baby and you living, your mom would pick you. Like my mom picked me to live into this next life, right? But I also saw everything that was on the other side, too, right? And it wasn't a physical sense of what I was seeing. It was more vibrational sense of everything, right? And I love the way you described that, right? The baby's looking at all this stuff, and it's like the mom is singing to the baby. I felt all that, right? But it was all in vibrations, right? And so when she passed away, I knew there was a connection that is so hard to explain to people. That I knew she was going to leave, right? I knew that that this was, like I said, 2 inches away, right? And so, like I said, the reason why I say that because I love the way you explain that too, because it's something that I've been trying to um, explain to people how what everything is. Uh, I don't know the way it's connected, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So let me go back to fear is incredibly gripping, right?
Mm.
So I don't want to bring the show down, but I just love the fact
that's
that
what we do. We go to the places and we go to the light, and it's all connected.
Yeah, right. And so it is funny because it is true. Like it's it is we feel these things, and you just Maribel was a beautiful baby, and she's Tilly is the big sister now. So it's incredible like how we've come back all the way full force on this show too, and everybody out there that's watching out there, and we appreciate you coming to the show and listen to our rants sometimes. My rants.
Going on.
I'll call my rants.
Our rant.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to put that in there. Yeah. So, but anyways, you took me to that spot, which I thank you for that too.
Well, I think you have a really, really powerful story in the mother and the loss in the, we've definitely talked about that before.
Yeah.
The connection that exists pre-exit from the womb. But I think I think the reason that metaphor helps me is because I can imagine being both. Like,
yeah.
We see people just on the other side of their pain, and we also are ourselves, sometimes.
Yeah. And, and I'm really happy to see that mental health is out there, with the Olympics, right? Everything else going on, people can talk about it. And, and that's how, when I left work, I really just said, I'm really, and the owner's so gracious, and I was like, I need to do this for my mental health. I need to quit now, well, not now, but I gave him a couple of weeks or a month.
You gave him
2
notice.
months.
Yeah.
But I really had to do this for my mental health. And he was like, okay, that's, I understand that. So, everybody out there, like I said, there is, a breaking point too. And
I just realized that you are Simone Biles. You were totally.
Well, it's my ponytail. Yeah, so.
Oh my gosh, I think that seeing people like choose their mental health, it liberates all of us. So just like seeing her, the literal goat, as they say, decide that her physical safety and mental health was more important than getting, however many more medals. It matters on a macro level and a micro level, Ruben. And it just goes back to that quote, when we let our own light shine, we give others permission to do the same. When we put our own mental health first, we give others.
I did choose, that was my thing. I choose my mental health over everything else, because you can't get that back. So, and so, so everybody out there, it's okay. It's okay to feel bad, and it's okay to reach out to people. It's okay to, reach out for help too. Right?
Should we do another question, by the way, on the heels of that? Because I feel like that really fits in with the question. Another, this isn't from the book, by the way. This is something that I think fits the moment. And that is the question about, what have you given up in order to have the life that you want? I forgot how I phrased it in our email, but what have you given up in order to be true to yourself, to choose your mental health, I just keep thinking of that Joseph Campbell quote that's something like, you must give up the life you had planned in order to have the life that's waiting for you. And it's like, so there's the plans that we make, and then there's the flow, right? Getting to Taoism, the flow that might be just pulling us forward. And are we going to listen to it? Are we going to clear the way? That's what you did. Getting rid of the job. It's clearing a path that's already there. But you could feel there was like a dam or like a big boulder, and it's like, gotta move that. So,
I'm gonna bring that up from the exact quote that you wrote.
Okay. Okay. So this is way better. This is why I write and I don't talk. What have you given up in order to have your most wild and precious life? And again, you copy and pasted exactly what I said. This is not from the journal, but seems fitting.
Yeah, but I think it's fitting for the show.
By the way, Wild and Precious is definitely Mary Oliver inspired. For anyone who knows that poem, by the way, I feel like we have to read Wild Geese, which is the poem that it's, is that from Wild Geese or Summer Day? Now I can't remember what poem that is. Wild and Precious Life. But Ruben, I have to tell you, Tilly and I were in the backyard this morning doing chalk, and I hear this weird sound, and I look up, and there's all these geese just flying over us going honk, honk, probably going to McKinley. Okay, it's the summer day. So I'm getting wild geese and the summer day confused. They're both poems by Mary Oliver. But yeah, so if anyone wants to answer that question, we would love to hear it. Ruben, do you have any additional answers or anything you want to expand on from that question?
Well, I mean, I would love to hear from everybody else, because like I said, this show is about everybody and about community. And it's like Donnell said, like it's like a family reunion. We did this show for so long, and I feel, I still get people come up to me and say, "Thank you for doing the show." Sometimes people that I don't even know, right? I went to the Casa Español for their 10th-year anniversary, and there was Aztecs dancers. And Pablo, one of the lead dancer, was like, "Hey, I really like your show." I'm like, I try to tune in as much as I can. I was like, "Thank you." I was like, and this guy they're doing this Aztec healing, and which is really curious because I really want to, I thought about this today because it really stuck with me. They were doing these blessings for for all the directions, and they were doing the healings for the first responders for the fires, right? Mm-hmm. But they also said one thing that struck me, that like, we also have to honor the fire itself, and what is the fire trying to tell us, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, that is such a thing that we're missing in this world, that we don't connect with nature enough to understand what is the earth trying to tell us, like what is these fires trying to tell us. Like it's not just like, oh, I'm gonna, what I mean? And so it's a very it struck me very well that we're missing that connection with the earth, with the mother, right, with the feminine energy. Yeah. And to understand what the spirit of that fire, like we're just not listening, to these, what's going on in the world, right? And so but that's a whole different story. But you got me into, I really loved it. I really loved, seeing these dancers, and the indigenous obviously know nature, and that's what they followed. But anyways, so I don't want to take over too much. There you go. See, Colleen
said Mary Oliver was such an incredible poet. She brought so much love to this world. I so agree. She's incredible. I love her. Yeah.
And then and I'm so happy that Colleen is here. I really am.
Me too.
I miss her. So
I
soon
know.
we'll see you. Yes.
It really is like a little reunion. Oh, okay. So this is what Miguel has given up. My lesser ego, constant complaining, negativity for me. Wow. Was that hard? Because I think it's such an admirable and an important thing to give up. And I think something I've heard a lot, which I think is so true, is that like these things serve us, like that ego that was like, oh, that's fucking blah, 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 just complaining all the time. For me, it's like it serves something, even if it's just a part of myself that would rather be unhappy than be deeply feeling. Or so yeah. Was it hard?
Yeah. Because it is a hard thing. We're always complaining, right? I'm always complaining about things, and I try to stop myself too. Yeah. Because, and I also stopped comparing myself to other lives, right? Well, this person is doing worse than I am, so what am I complaining about? But we all have our own things that are going on in life, no matter how much money we have, no matter how much money we don't have, how much, it is, what they call it, humans, we all suffer in some way, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
we talked
is
about that like empathy is not like pie. Yeah. We can't, just because we give some to ourselves doesn't mean there's not enough for the rest of the world. So change attitude and shift. Yeah, sounds so simple, but it's a huge thing. So I love that. Something that just struck me, I didn't know what I was going to say to this actually, but I think something that I gave up, and it's still tempting to do at times, but it's been a real intentional thing of mine, is gossip, is talking about people. And I say that knowing, okay, so speaking to it serves something, like most things that we do serve us in some way. And for me, it felt good to feel better than someone. It felt like back when I was never like a huge gossip, but it was like something that didn't feel good when I did it. And I think that it can make you feel closer with someone else. You know, I would like the feeling of closeness I got when I was mutually disliking someone else, and I found that out. So I saw what it served in me, and I also really hated the way I felt. And I hated the fact that if I'm talking about people with you, you can't trust me. Like, I could be talking about you too. It was like this person I didn't want to be. So, you know, I'm human. It's tempting, of course, at times to be like, oh my God, did you see what? But I never talk like that. But
actually, you do. I heard you.
as soon as the camera stops rolling, I'm just like Becky from the mall. But yeah, that's something I think we've talked a lot about the 4 agreements on this show. And that's something that I definitely got from Don Miguel Ruiz, and just this idea that our words are so powerful. Use them for good, or at least don't use them for harm, right?
Well, you know, and it's funny, but they say that because I know that, well, my personal experience, I know that works, right? The negative things that people have told you when you're a kid live on through your life, right? And so I agree with you without going in you know, into a darker mode of everything else. So
yeah, sorry, I just saw that you're not putting up all the comments.
I am right now. So I'm bringing it right now. So
we all need to run our own race and not compare ourselves to others. I love the quote that's like, the only person you should be comparing yourself to is yourself yesterday or last year. And you know what? Even then, sometimes I can get down on myself. So it's like, comparison is so tempting, but I think that's such a good thing to give up.
Yeah,
miss conversations. We miss you too.
Yeah.
It's so nice, and to know, even if you're not talking a lot, that we're sharing space with you all. So
and we're coming back, you know. So
yeah.
I thought you said give up Gothic. That's right. See.
You gave up Gothic. Well, look at him tonight, Colleen. Doesn't look like it.
Well, I mean, I did. You know, I got a little hair there. I love the 4 agreements. Yeah.
So good.
And it is, you know, and you know, me too, and the 4 agreements of power too.
One of the questions in my book that's releasing tomorrow is, are there any books that you hope I'll read? And that's actually in my daughter's book that I've written to her, and the journal is questions for a parent to answer for their child. And one of the books that I hope my kids will read is the 4 agreements. And you know, we change so much in life that my answer might be different in 20 years. Yeah. But something I always encourage people to do is to not overthink it and not wait for like that for sure definitive answer, but just like make a note and then make future ones later. Yeah. But the 4 agreements is so just kind of foundational in so many different practices that it's an incredible book.
And so I want to go back to your book. So everybody, thank you for coming to Cali Cocktail Hour, and we love the fact that you comment. You know, bring. I know there's some people out there that are not commenting, which I totally, you know, I really understand, because I do that with Clubhouse in the NFT world and the metaverse. I just listen to what people have to say, and we appreciate you out there who are just listening. And I know that people have talked to me about this. You know, like, I've listened to your show. Thank you very much. You know, but thank you very much for listening, because this is what we do it for. And Melissa, you do have a new book. This is, you know, and you had a book that we had before with, and I just want to bring it up so it's going to splash the screen and tell us more about it. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
There you go.
So I've been creating journals for mothers, and tomorrow, the journals for fathers launch. So there's this one, Questions I Wish You Asked, a time capsule journal for fathers and daughters. And then there's one for fathers and sons. And what they are books for parents to either write in for their kids, whether your kids are like in the womb, haven't been born, or they're adults, or maybe this is a gift that you get for your parent who it's born from the idea. I think most of the people here know this story, but my mom died unexpectedly, and there was a lot of stuff I didn't ask her that I wish I had. So this book is my kind of alchemy of all that grief, all the questions I didn't get a chance to ask. And I had a lot of people ask about dads, and I didn't grow up with a dad, so it wasn't even on my radar at first. And then it's like, yeah, of course dads should be writing down their stories and their advice. And yeah, so you can order it at Follow Your Fire Coaching. It's probably live at this moment. By the way, I'm going to give away some books. So if you go and pre-order a book or order one of these books, just screenshot it and message me if you want another one. Because I now have Mothers and Sons, Mothers and Daughters, Fathers and Sons, Fathers and Daughters, Parents and Kids is coming out. It's like a gender neutral one. Grandparents is coming out. So screenshot that that buy, and then I'll enter you to win. I'm going to give away a couple copies, and you can just tell me, hey, I also want to get, this other book. But yeah, it's just like kind of a fun little giveaway I'm doing for those of you that are supporting the pre-sale and the launch day. And so if you're going to order it, let me also just throw it out there that Amazon does this thing that if you get if it looks like people are interested in your book, then they'll shoot you to the top of the rankings and they'll advertise it to people who maybe don't already know and follow you and want to buy it. So basically, you guys supporting me today and tomorrow is actually helping these books be found by the greater population. So super, super grateful for your support and glad to be able to talk about it. I feel like so much of my journey was on Cali Cocktail Hour as far as this book and the process of writing it and the grief story and all of that.
It's true though. I mean, we came from, you became an author in front of our eyes, right? Yeah. So everybody out there, if you have a need, order the book, right?
Yeah.
So yes. So we're going to take a little bit of break. We're going to go to one of my segments of What's Up with Oprah. And,
what's up, Oprah?
What's up, right? Yeah, so it's going to be Spanglish. So take a little break. But listen, and we'll come back and we'll discuss. The reason why I'm playing this is because there is I had to make a difficult decision in my life, right? And like I said, I don't want to be the person I made a decision, so you can do it too. Just find your purpose. All this stuff. I mean, I really want to be out there. It's hey, find something if it's for your mental health, right? If it doesn't feel right, really listen to yourself, because I didn't listen to myself, but I did at the end because I knew that I had to, right? So, and I really want, I was listening to some Oprah stuff. I mean, some Oprah stuff, but it's about your purpose doesn't have to be this grandeur thing, right? It just help people, talk to people, make people smile, and I like I said, I don't want to be I'm an artist now, I'm going to do my artist stuff, right? It's really pretentious, right?
You were already living your purpose.
No, I know, but I'm saying my purpose, I'm scared. And like I said, I really am scared because I don't have a job. I don't have a paycheck after I get back, right? So it's not we're I'm going to do this. I do feel like it's going to be okay. I feel it's going to be better than okay. But I don't want to put it out there just quit your job, do this stuff, but really look at how you feel, right? And don't get to the point to where you can't make a decision. That decision has to make it for you, because it's not a good place to be. And it was scary for me. It was, I'm going to say, I think I told you, that my Melissa helped me so much, and I ended up crying in an embryo state, crunched up, and just saying, I really released to the universe, please help me. I can't do this by myself, right? And I really reached out for whoever you believe in, right? I had, it was awesome. She had pictures of my mom's, my father, my other father that passed away, just my spirit, my ancestors, right? Ganesh, Buddha, whatever you want to, Vita and Guadalupe, whatever you believe in was there for me to help me, get back to this part that was it was scary, and I really believe that, everybody came to bat for me, because the next day it worked out for some reason, right? And of course, spirituality, yes, Buddhism, yes, Taoism, yes, but also other things, I don't even know what to say, but I did reach out to what I needed to do, so yeah. So
I'm
anyways,
really proud of you.
Yeah, and it was scary. It was really really scary, and I'm not. That's what I'm gonna say. It was beyond scary because I've been there before. I've not. I have journals and letters that I wrote before that were not. I'm afraid to read them, but I'm also afraid to throw them away. Does that make
Whoa.
sense? Yeah.
When are they from?
Like probably 14, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And I still have them, but I don't want to open them up.
They're like time capsules for you.
They are. I was going to throw them away. I'm like, maybe this is what's going on, blah, blah, blah. But anyways, we're all here for you, right? And so anything that you're going through, like we just want to know, right? If, like Melissa said, if it's good, that's awesome. That's great. Don't be afraid of that. If it's bad, don't be afraid of that either, because that's what we're here for. So
if it's weird, don't be afraid of that. We're weird.
If it's weird, that's perfect.
That's
right?
perfect.
Yeah. So I did find something that I did want to play with Oprah, and that's we'll go there and we'll come right back and we can talk about other things and order Melissa's book. And thank you for coming for Cali Cocktail Hour, and we'll be right back. Okay.
Because I see how all of it, the moments were as important to my spiritual unfolding and probably much more important than the best moments.
Yeah. And is that true for all of us humans?
I think so.
If you can awaken to it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the difficult moments just continue to be more difficult moments.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, we're not taught that difficulty can have a profound and meaningful, transformative effect on us. We might be taught that in a way. Someone might say that, but what do I do? What do I do when I'm suffering? What do I do when I really feel overwhelmed? How do I work with the minutiae of my experience so that it's transformative and not just another episode of suffering in a lifetime of suffering?
Yeah. What is the answer to that question? What do I do with it?
Oh, I think the first thing is you have to be really unconditionally open to it and take responsibility. How have I gotten myself right here?
Oh, that is the question, isn't it?
Am I willing to see how I got
that
myself
I got to here,
right
choice by choice by choice by choice.
Right.
Oh, that's a hard one, isn't it?
It's really hard, and it also has that other side, doesn't it? Not that
because if you want to blame other people, you want to say, well, if they hadn't have done that, or if they should have done that, or I was so busy and I could, yes.
But if we look at it this way, if somebody else was fully to blame for my current state, whatever that is, then that's it. I'm done. I have no hope.
Right.
If they're the real blame, I can't go back and change anything that's ever happened.
Right.
Right? If that's the reason,
yes,
I'm stuck. That's hopeless. But when we realize that may have certainly affected how I experience this moment, there's a link, then there's usually things about it that we don't want to own up to. And it's both difficult, and it's also, once you start to realize it's very liberating, because the keys to your happiness are no longer in somebody else's pocket from the past. They're in yours. And that's empowering.
Oh, boom.
Right.
That was some truth right there. How liberating.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I know she was when she said we ended up here choice by choice by choice. And I'm always really careful to not gaslight people. There are certain situations we're allowed to experience pain and not blame ourselves for it.
Yeah.
So just to kind of divorcing from that, that like kind of bad idea to the more powerful, liberating, freeing idea that, oh my God, we have little bitty choices we make every single day, and they make up our day, and then our days make up our weeks, and then our weeks make up our years or whatever. And that's our lives. Like those little choices equal our lives. That's really powerful. So
yeah. And that was my choice. Like I said, I don't blame anybody but my choices, right? That was my choice to leave, my choice to stay there, my choice to try to think that I can help everybody. But in the end, it is ultimately my decision and my my choice to to go where I'm going to go, right? If that makes sense.
Yeah. Totally makes
So
sense.
yeah, so Melissa, it is well, in 2 hours it'll be your birthday, right? So I want to say, oh, there you go, I did it. Happy birthday, Melissa.
Oh, thank you,
Yeah.
Ruben. And everyone who has already wished me a happy birthday.
Yes, and everybody out there who is lurking, what I like to call it out there.
Everyone who's secretly wishing me a happy birthday, I won't tell.
Yeah, and thank you for coming out. And then Miguel says inspired.
Yeah, that was a great clip. Who was that, by the way? Did you tell me who the guest was?
I want to say his name is correctly. I kind of
I've
knocked
never
it off
seen
there.
him. I feel like I usually recognize her guest.
No,
But yeah,
that was he's a teacher.
it wasn't Gary Zukav, was it?
No, it was maybe Miguel would know because he's a Zen master and a oh, see, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
And All is another person who taking me onto this NTF NFT world. Sorry,
Like you were
I'm
going to say
dyslexic.
Antifa.
No, Antifa. Yes, that's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
we're in Antifa now. But we're making
Cherise
lots of
says, "Happy birthday, Melissa! Happy birthday, Melissa. Yeah, not happy birthday,
Thank
Cherise, but
you.
welcome, Cherise. Yeah,
Thank you so much, you guys. And that's part of why it was fun to come on here tonight. Even though not everyone is still in like quarantine, I have 2 small kids and I very rarely leave the house. So this is like the closest to a birthday party I'm gonna get. But
cake.
anyway, enough of the pity party. It's my birthday. I'll cry if I want to.
Yeah.
I'm just happy to be here. So thank you for the birthday wishes and birthdays. I love them because I'm always a reflective person. I often am like, what was I doing a year ago? How was life different 10 years ago? And on birthdays, it's just a really powerful time to reflect and
Zen Buddhism.
Not Zen Buddhism. Yeah,
Yes,
Ruben.
true.
Get it right.
Well, it said Zen, and it said Buddhism on his bio. So
I'm gonna tell you to get it right, and then I'm gonna say I would make the exact same mistake.
Look,
I don't actually know.
I'm dyslexic, so you got to be careful with me. I'm very sensitive.
You're like knocking old ladies over, and you're like,
I will spell sensitive in a wrong way, by the way.
Do you?
And I just what do you call it? Canceled it out. So yeah, that makes sense.
I'm confused right
I know. Yeah. No one knows but me. So
nobody knows. So where were we going? What were we about to talk about?
We're about to say good night to everybody because you got to leave at 10.
Yeah.
10.
I get up at 4:30 every morning. I will just toss that out there. So this is like crazy late, but I'm also so happy to be here with you all. And
yeah,
I feel like, gosh, what was the maybe we got to like the main questions we wanted to get to. And
yeah.
Anyone that's still here that hasn't said hi, please do pop in. Thank you for joining us. And it really does feel so good to be back. And also, too, we're all always changing. But whenever I have a new baby, and I've had 17 of them now.
Yeah, I was like, well, what do you? There you go. That's what it is right there.
What's that? Is that the type of NFT that you're?
No, that's that's the person that you just heard. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were saying.
Sorry.
I was like on a different topic.
I know. I'm trying to bring it up.
You'll bring a comment up like 10 minutes after a topic, and I'm like, wait, what were they responding?
Okay, here you go. There you go. See.
As a teenager, Adi Ashanti immersed himself in the world of Zen Buddhism, hoping it would spark an awakening of consciousness. It worked, and over time, he realized that putting labels on everything. Oh, no more labels. See, that's part of the lesson.
And that's it right there. Thank you very much.
There you go. All right.
So,
I feel smarter.
Yeah, I can't put it up there. So, there you go. See, Bridget, hola, from Mount Shasta.
Oh my gosh, why are you so cool? You are a pear in your profile picture.
And Bridget has an awesome podcast too. So it'd be great. There's so many great, awesome people here on that I love on this show. So.
Yeah. You also know a lot of pretty cool people.
I try.
Miguel, thank you for joining us. It was great to have your interaction and insight. And Ruben, sorry that he called you a Zen Buddhist.
Did I?
That's what I thought happened a few minutes ago. I'm just kidding. I won't make it weird. We're just glad everyone who joined us. And
Yes.
we're going to keep doing this. I'm not exactly sure the interval or when we'll be back, but we will be back. So hopefully you all will be. I feel like I can't talk. Is this what happens at like 10:08 p.m. for me?
Yeah. Mom, the mom witching hour.
The mom witching hour.
That's
I am
right.
in my witch outfit, by the way.
That's what I'm saying. Like, where'd you get that? Cool. Yeah.
Well,
See?
I ordered it from the internet the other day.
So Bridget's podcast is called "How Do You Frame It" podcast. Oh, how do you frame it? So,
How do you
and we
frame
have
it?
two. What's that?
Is it about perspective?
Bridget, type it in.
Yeah,
Right.
let's hear. Because when I see that title, I think, oh, it's like the world is how you see it, like that Anais Nin quote.
Yeah.
But it could be about like art or photography or something actually about framing. So,
So, So get your book. I want to put your book up before we go.
you want me
Before
to actually hold it in my hands? I actually have all my books here. There's even one
can I ask you a favor? And I think people like it because I can put the graphic up her book. Why don't you read something from it?
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great. In a
yeah.
very 007 voice. Yeah.
We could do a little bit of the intro.
Yeah, do it.
Let me remind you, this book is a journal, so it's not like I have a lot of writing in here. It's a bunch of questions. I like to think of it as I make you the writer. Like everyone is a writer, everyone has a story, and I ask the right questions to help you tell your story to the people that you love. That is part of my purpose in life, is to make sure that you, whoever you are, knows that your story matters, however small, however insignificant. I would give the world to hear the answers my mom would have had to these questions. And she went through her entire life thinking that she was very insignificant and nobody cared. And to be truthful, even when she was alive, I didn't act like I cared a lot because I didn't know to care about this stuff. Like, I didn't know to ask her this stuff. So anyway, that's why I wrote the book, all of these books. And that's why I keep creating them, is that I want as many people as possible to share their story with their loved ones, and also just to recognize their own worth. This isn't just for the people you give the book to. This is for you. All right, Ruben? Ready?
Perfect. I'm ready.
All right, I'll just read a little bit from the intro. So, a note to fathers and daughters. This is the father-daughter book. When my mom, an only parent, died in my late 20s, I felt like I scattered along with her ashes. Our relationship had been anything but perfect, but it was one I couldn't imagine living without. The bond between parent and child is like that, as ordinary as the familiar silence shared during a car ride, and as profound as the connection one has with their first friend, first teacher, and first love. Though we talked endlessly in the time we shared on the planet, there were so many questions I had once she left. Questions I wish I asked, answers I didn't remember, and information about her that I craved. I was ravenous for her thoughts on love, forgiveness, difficulty, and death. I had so many questions about who she was before me and who she hoped I would become after her. When I later stumbled upon a journal we had shared, I was blown away. I read and reread her words, tracing the familiar curve of her handwriting. It felt like I was time traveling, sitting there beside her as she jotted down answers and crossed out mistakes. Though no amount of writing could bring her back to me, this journal has become one of my most treasured possessions, an innocuous item that her death rendered sacred. So since my mom's passing, I've often encouraged others to ask their parents questions they might someday have. I believe the benefit is twofold: a deeper understanding of a person while they're alive, and a legacy to look back on when they're gone. A mother now myself, I don't know if my kids will crave this information like I did, but just in case they someday do, I created the Questions You'll Wish You Asked journal series. This father-daughter journal is particularly close to my heart. Though I didn't have a father myself, I've now witnessed how special this bond can be, a sacred and foundational relationship that will shape the rest of a child's life. I created this for my children, and I created it for you too. So I'm not going to go into the rest. I think you can get an idea of what the book is about, but yeah, it is exactly what the title implies. It's questions I think you'll wish you asked. And I don't think it's just questions you'll wish you asked your parent. I think it's also questions you'll wish you asked yourself.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think it's beautiful. I think like, like I wish, well, my father's still alive, but it'd be kind of hard to ask him that, you
yeah,
know. But the hard things, are the best things, right? The difficult things are the probably the most satisfying things that you'd ask for everybody, right?
I keep thinking about, like, I know a lot of people like you, Ruben, who have a very human relationship with their parents. And by that, I mean very complicated. And I myself had a dad who wasn't around that, like,
Yeah.
complicated. And I've been trying to think, like, how can I make a journal for the, like, complicated relationship? And the truth is that those relationships often, you're not asking those questions, you're maybe not even talking, but I guess I'm just allowing for the space of all of that I think these are really important to ask.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
humans
But
are,
I think you're making something for a space, right? You're making space for this conversation to happen, and that's something that we never had before, right? Especially for generation, right? Like the more I go back into the generations, I mean, I realize that they never had any space for this at all to
yeah.
talk about anything, Um, yeah. So yeah. So
Yeah.
it's
And they're
great that
like big, heavy questions and also some lighter ones. I think those are important to make this accessible. I know
yeah
that we as humans are not always in a place where we can answer a question like one of the questions is, if you could choose your last words to me, dad
yeah
or mom, what would they be? And as a kid, I would love to hear that, but I know it can be a hard question to answer. So there's also stuff like, what are your favorite books? What are your favorite movies? What is your favorite food? Like, just tell me
yeah.
about you. So it's definitely all over the spectrum, but you can find it on followyourfirecoaching.com or just search it on Amazon. Just make sure I'm the author if you do that, because I don't know
Oh
why
yeah, I saw that.
my book gets
That's
pirated on
perfect though. That's awesome. I
what
mean, in a way that you're pirated.
is it?
I
I
mean,
guess
it's not, but at least someone took the time to like
it's
your
just
book.
happening. It's
Yeah,
happened with
it's so
like the
weird.
yeah, it's so strange. It's something I didn't know to expect, but
Yeah,
it does happen. So I say that too because the people who have ordered the wrong journal have just gotten like a blank book, and like, what a sham. I don't want you to get a
yeah,
blank book. So
yeah.
look for my name. But yeah, please go
Let
order it.
me get back to the actually the original. There you go. That's it.
Nice. That's for fathers and daughters. Yeah, there's fathers and daughters and fathers and sons. I was going for kind of like a 70s, 80s vibe with these ones. So,
What about
oh,
this?
set your life on fire. Seek those who fan your flame. I feel like fire, I mean, obviously my company is called Follow Your Fire, so I have a huge affinity for this, but fire is a central theme. And I think even in that clip with Adia Shante, I forgot what
Yeah,
his name is,
yeah.
talking about like really facing whatever it is. And
And you're gonna have to face that, right, at some point, right? And our friend Nick Bustos always talked about I think it's in the Course of Miracles, which
oh
is
yeah,
yeah, which he started to tell me about a long time ago. So we'll have him on the show too. Bridget said, "Thank you for the How You Frame podcast shout out." Um, it's
art based.
it's human centered. We're artists. We're all human. Uh, yeah, right.
Wait, oh, that sounds fascinating. I love that idea. I think, I mean, yeah, art imitates life.
Right.
And it reminds me of The Artist's Way, which she just wrote, that book that's like, it's called like Unblocking Your Inner Artist, but it's basically for humans to unblock their inner selves. So,
And she said, "Thank you for sharing your story."
well, thank you for
Right.
joining us, Bridget. I can't wait to see you
So
guys.
so let me ask you. I'm going to ask you a question right now. I know you have to go, but out of all the time that I've never asked you this question, and it's going to be a little deeper question, right? Yeah. So
Oh, The Artist's Way. Oh,
yeah.
amazing. I love The Artist's Way.
But I want to ask. I mean, I've put myself out there for my mom, my father, who is but I want to know about your father. And because he left, right?
Yeah.
As far as I know, right? And so how does that? Because I can tell you how my father makes me feel, but I never asked you how your father makes you feel. Right?
Yeah, well, that's a pretty big question for like.
Yeah.
very-
No, I know, but we've like I feel like I've just emoted so much, right? And I never asked you about that myself. So before
Well,
we have a
funny
couple
that
minutes.
you bring it up today because
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about that I was on a podcast and I've
Yeah.
never talked about my dad publicly. I've never really written about him. And I
Yeah.
talked about that story in that podcast. So, just because it's a great show to follow, I would check out Parentless Podcast just because it's really great, talks about grief. But I think the short version of that answer is a lot. My dad makes me feel a lot. And I think strangely, it's only recently that I've actually realized that. I've been doing a lot of really deep work since my second daughter was born. And part of that was really recognizing all that I never create. Honestly, this fucking journal brought up a lot. Trying to make a journal for fathers and daughters and realizing I could never ask my dad that stuff.
Exactly.
He left. Like he left and then he died. Like it brought up a lot. So yeah, I mean the short version of that is that he makes me feel a lot. And I think for a lot of time I thought, well, he wasn't around, so he just didn't affect me. And people's absence can be just as impactful. But it's a weird way to put it, but it can be really impactful on our lives. So yeah, I would love to talk about it more at some point. I think it's been a part of my development that is like, it's kind of exciting when I meet a part of myself that I haven't met before. Cause it's like, oh, cool. That gets me, we talked about that womb and like healing being so close. It's like, oh, maybe this pain is getting me closer to outside this cycle. And I want to be free.
So I'm going to ask you a question. Is he still around?
Oh no, my dad died.
Okay.
He left and then he came back and then he died. So yeah, he's been gone since I was 20, 21, something like that. Yeah.
Something I never asked before, that's all.
Well, if there's something I love, it's questions. Writing them, answering them. So
oh, I know that for sure.
We should dive into dads. And I know that this might have been the show for it, but
that'll be the show. Dive into dads. Right? Everybody dads.
Like, oh God, bring your daddy issues because we all got them.
Yeah, well, that would be the show. Daddy issues, right? So, but everybody, we love that you came out tonight, and Melissa, thank you for coming out tonight. Happy birthday, because it's almost your birthday.
Thank you for having me, Ruben. Thank you for, by the way, carrying the torch for as long as you did.
Yeah.
Even while you were like thrust back into this work and crazy busy life and being out in the world again. It's really important to a lot of us that you...
Dead dads.
Not dead
Charisse. And Charisse is another one. Like, I think that, which is really weird because I think that we bring this up, right? And I think that there's so many different... we all have this common bond with something, right? Because dads, honestly, guys aren't very open, right? And dads aren't very open. Dads, it's just, as you look back in the generations, right? There's the different kind of like, nowadays they're more open now, right? And you can do stuff like that, but it's nice to hear that we all have the same kind of almost experience, right? Because without acknowledging that, we just feel like we're alone. I feel like I'm alone, right? And the more I talk to people, the more I realize that I'm not alone.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the beautiful thing about talking.
Right. Yeah. And that's you're right. That's a beautiful thing. That's actually a quote for the night. The beautiful thing about talking, right?
Yeah.
Because we all can talk about it, and we all can emote, which is something that's lost in the generations. Because back in my generation, back in the other generation, they didn't talk about anything at all. When someone said, I heard someone say, well, Auntie Franny sucked it up. I'm like, she didn't suck it up. She was not allowed to talk about it, right?
And then so many were like shipped off to insane asylums or...
But exactly, right? They had,
otherwise died young and sick and
died young. Yes.
I'm so glad for that too.
Right? And
not
then that's
young and sick, but...
No, but you're right though. Because some people were, thrown off. Anyways, thank you for coming out for Feelings Thursday.
Feelings? Oh, you're right. Feelings Thursday.
Yeah.
And we would have done it on Friday. Ruben
Yeah.
has a show. Do you want to talk about that? Is that something that?
Oh yeah. So tomorrow night, just real quick. Tomorrow, I built this the comedor, which is comedor is something in Oaxaca, which is like mean like an eatery, but something where you um, celebrate outside, right? And it's the most beautiful people that I ever met. So I built one in Sacramento at the center. So, but we're having our first jazz festival. Jazz festival. We're having a jazz trio tomorrow night.
Oh,
And so come out
no.
tomorrow night for the comedor, and we'll be there. But I don't
How
like to.
exciting.
Yeah.
I know you don't, but you need to. So you need to put that up somewhere so that
It's the
people.
Mexican Kevin Costner, right? Build and they will come.
Oh, okay. Field of
Field of Dreams,
Dreams.
yeah. That's right.
Oh,
Yeah. So I built
you
it.
built
and,
it. It looks amazing. I saw some
Yeah.
pictures you put up.
Yeah.
Go to
So
Ruben's page if you want to see what this space looks like. It looks really incredible.
so before we go, I want to bring up Melissa's. She sent me some things that I wanted, some quotes, right?
Oh,
And I just want to just go through them real quick, if we can.
boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. Well, hold on a second.
My installation is up
Yes.
at Arden Fair Mall for the month. What?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Colleen, that's amazing. God, I wish I'd go to the mall more often. Now I would have seen it. For the month of September, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Oh my
And
gosh,
Colleen,
congratulations.
I want to say something to Colleen too. Like, we love you, and we know that how much pain you've been through this month too. And your artwork is very beautiful, and I think that I love it.
Transformative.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I'm on the first floor, a couple doors down from Apple.
Yes.
Amazing. So you guys head over to Arden Fair Mall if you're in Sacramento watching this and check out. Colleen makes incredible, incredible art. So I assume your name must be on it somewhere if people wanted to.
That's great. That's awesome too. So yeah.
All right, I gotta go pump. So I actually have to cut this show because
So there's a pumping going on here. Yeah. So my breasts are I'm actually lactating right now.
This has been part of our show for ages, by the way. I'm always like talking about breast milk.
So
It's just a
love
reality.
you. Thank you so much, fam. Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much for the show, both of you. And I'm leaking right now. Leaking.
Emotion. He's talking
Emotion. Emotion. That's right. And feelings, right. So everybody, thank you for coming out. Melissa, I will talk to you soon, and we'll come back for Cali Cocktail Hour with Melissa. We'll see you soon. What you can
Next
do.
time I'll just strap my pump on like below frame. We can just keep on going.
I hope that yes, I hope that you will yeah. And I'll put a pump on just for what's it? Sympathetic? Solidarity pump, yeah. I'll put my solidarity pump, right. Everybody have a great night. We will talk to you soon. Thank you for coming for
Bye everybody.
Happy birthday, Melissa, and it was fun. And we will get back to it. Everything else. Let's see. Let me find that ending. Okay, there it is.
Back in the flow of things. All right.
Yeah.
Bye everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye, Ruben.
Oh, breast milk. My friend I think he made breast milk cookies, so that was not good.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Love it. I assume you knew the breast that the milk came from. That sounds like a whole story.
Everybody have a great night. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye, everybody.
Maybe I've seen my dad, and I'm alive to kill the time. What triggers the idea of la da da da? La all. Why must we experience it? My curiosity kills cities of cats. That's that.